and I purchased things, and I went out there and got mentors. And, I did try the click funnels. I bought the whole package, and then it went nowhere.
Success is a lie if you're failing inside. You can't grow a business you hate. Welcome to the Business Reality Check.
Welcome to the Business Reality Check podcast. I'm Jonna.
I'm Lori, and together we founded Thrive Collective because we are deeply passionate about the solopreneur and the small business owner. We're tired of seeing people try to build a business based on someone else's lifestyle or proven formula that just doesn't fit who they are.
Absolutely. We're here because we care about the person behind the professional, and we want to help you realign your work with the life that you really want to lead. If you're feeling stuck or like you're living in a business that was built for someone else, you're not alone. This podcast is about having an honest, heart-centered conversation that you need to get back to what matters. We're going to look at what's truly holding you back and challenge the shoulds that keep you small. We do that with kindness and radical clarity because you deserve a business that works for you, not against you.
And if you'd like to see our faces and feel like you're right here in the room with us, head over to youtube.com/@bizrealitycheckpod to watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts. Check the podcast notes for all the links and the resources from today's episode. And if you're ready for your own reality check, we've also included a link to apply to be a guest. We'd love to hear your story. All right, let's get started. So today we're talking with Melinda Schmitz, founder of Lifestyle Techniques. Melinda teaches people confidence in social settings through better manners and communication skills, working with both adults and young people who want to show up with more polish and presence. Melinda's been running this business for over 5 years alongside her full-time job. She genuinely loves the work she does, and when she gets to work with clients, she lights up. The impact she wants to make is real, and it matters to her. But here's what's also true. She's exhausted. She can't remember the last time she felt really excited about her business, and she's spending more time trying to find clients than actually being able to serve them. And she's at a 9 out of 10 on the frustration scale. So there's a disconnect somewhere between what she wants in this business to be and what it actually is. And also there's a difference in the impact she wants to make in the reality of her day-to-day.
Absolutely. So today what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what's really going on, where the stuck points are, what needs to shift in the business so that Melinda can actually feel like the business is what you meant it to be. And so that's what we're going to dive in today. And we are so glad you're here, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. So Melinda, we want to start by asking you, what are you hoping to uncover in this conversation? What do you want to walk away with?
Well, what I'd like to walk away with is a way to talk to people who are interested and to actually have them purchase my etiquette classes, because I'm passionate about it and I try to reflect that when I'm selling to them. But I just want to get the conversion of interested into purchasing clients.
That makes sense. Absolutely. So like connecting and then moving them kind of along the journey past that initial interest, which I think leads us to a really good question, which is your why. Why did you start this business? Why etiquette? And we want to know a little bit kind of like why you're passionate about it.
Well, I'm passionate about it twofold. My grandmother, my mom's mom, taught me etiquette throughout her whole life, and she was impeccable. She would dress to the 9, no matter what we were doing. She had absolutely wonderful table manners, and it was just like a joy to be around her and to watch her and to learn from her. And I didn't have that at home, which is interesting because her daughter, my mom, didn't really have any etiquette and would often embarrass me in public with her poor manners. And I just was crushed because like I was trying to learn it and do it, and then to be around my mom that wasn't displaying those qualities. So I want to help the next generation and adults not struggle to fit in socially and to feel confident in social settings with their manners. So that's why I started, and I just want to teach everybody so that they don't like without knowing they're embarrassing themselves, you know, with poor manners.
Thank you for sharing that. I just want to point out that people who are listening in who are also entrepreneurial or running a small business are automatically going to find themselves in you. Very, very passionate, coming from that place deep, even back into our childhoods, being that root cause, and then still having, but just that little sticking point of that, how do I get them through the journey from interested to paying? So I just want to underline that a lot of us are like nodding with you. And I think we're all going to get where you're going. So I just really encourage everyone who's listening in to put yourself in her shoes, because she's doing the heavy lifting for us. I mean, you have a lot of respect for Melinda doing this. This isn't easy. And I just invite you to really get a lot out of this for yourself inside of Melinda and what she's sharing today. So I wanted to just start with big, big props to you, because it's not
Thank
easy
you.
to just say that out loud. And it also highlights a lot, right? For me and you, Jonna, like we didn't know that part of the story.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that like that really gives us pieces of the puzzle that helps like, oh, this makes so much sense. Like we can see why you're passionate about it, and like I want to use that story. I want that story to be part of your marketing and your brand. So as we kind of dive into this, let's keep that at the forefront as we're kind of building, you know, our who and our why and our what, and kind of going through. I have one more question, Lori, unless you want to inject, but I kind of want to know. So now we know your why. I want to know, like, you know, obviously I worked with you years ago, right? When you first started, which your business has shifted a little bit since then, you know? And so I want to know kind of like what the journey's been like over the last handful of years since you started, you know, like what you've done, what you've tried, and just, you know, it doesn't have to be super detailed, but just a little brief overview so we have a place to start from.
Okay, well, thank you for asking. I actually feel like I've tried everything, but I know I haven't. So there's things I need to do to attract and gain clients. But what I tried was, I did try Yelp ads for a while. I tried posting like every day. I tried giving out gift certificates to charities to give as door prizes or put in swag bags to kind of get my name out there. Gosh, I know that I've tried other things, but I just feel like everything I've tried really hasn't gotten me to where I need to be.
Right. So kind of just like different, we like to call that kind of like Frankenstein-y. Like you try all these different things, but they don't quite fit together. Like they're not working in a system. They're not working together. And so it's kind of like piecing together, which doesn't always work. So I think we'll keep that in mind as we move forward too, so we can kind of figure out like maybe why that didn't perform super well, or like why that didn't work and what we would suggest instead.
Sure. And there were things I wanted to do. Like I had heard of things called funnels and all this stuff that people talk about. And I purchased things, and I went out there and got mentors. And, you know, I did try the click funnels. I bought the whole package, and then it went nowhere. I just feel like I've exhausted all I know how to do. And I'm an accountant, so I didn't know marketing. I don't know sales, but I'm passionate about what I do and the product I have from the National Association of Urban Etiquette Professionals. They designed the program that I do for tween and teen girls.
Awesome. I think that makes complete sense, because it's like things are so overwhelming, especially when we are not like knowledgeable in those things. You know, like if we don't know anything about marketing and you look at something and everybody's giving different advice, it's really hard to be like, okay, this is the right path for me, because it's just like taking the advice of others. And if they're not in your day-to-day and they're not in your business and your lifestyle, sometimes they don't know what's best for you, because, you know, something like ClickFunnels, amazing, right? When it's set up and it works right. But there's so many steps from purchasing to having it live, right? Like that's the part that it's like, that's the overwhelming. And even for me, like if I had to build out an entire ClickFunnels funnel all by myself, Lori, I don't think I'd finish it. But, like, I'm going to be honest. And I work in marketing. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? So.
Well, I like what you're pointing to. And I feel like a lot of people are this is like the cosmic question. This is not just a Melinda phenomenon. So first of all, you're not alone. A lot of people are like, why isn't it working? And we have the exact answers. We know there are key pieces that are not defined, that are not clear, and we're going to help you define them in this conversation today. And so there's the who, there is the what, and there is the how. And these are not being defined in a way that is money making. So that's where I come from. My perspective in our business is, you might hear me say like, I'm the closer, or I'm the one who does the sales. I'm going to make sure Jana's the brand queen. For anyone who doesn't know Jana, P.S. Super creative. Look behind her. Creative, beautiful things come out of her brain, but in a way that tells a story that you want to buy. And then I make sure it's like organized, operational, successful, click, click, boom, if you will. Okay. Okay, millennials, Gen Z peoples, click, click, boom. We're going to dive in, and this is where it might start to feel a little sticky or uncomfortable, because you kind of have, sometimes we battle with ourselves over these answers. So we want to start by, who are you for? And you've said tween, teen, adult. Now we've looked at your Instagram, we've looked at your Facebook, we've looked at your LinkedIn and your website. So just for context purposes, we have a sense of what you've been talking about, posting about, how you describe yourself. But what tends to not work is you can't serve a tween the way you serve an adult.
Right.
Both in language or in product or service. So we're going to push back a little bit and say you can't serve tweens, teens, and adults. It's just not going to work. So let's talk through the actual ideal client. Magic wand moment. Who are these people? Let's talk age first, because I don't want to add anything in yet, Jana. I want to start age first.
And think about it like not who you've worked with, like, you know, thus far, because sometimes the clients that we've already had are not our ideal clients when we're, you know, kind of working on our business, but that like that person you really want to work with, like, you know, like who you want to connect with.
It's a
like
magic
number one, you know what I mean? So what kind of age or age range would you like to work with?
The program I have is called Ladies Club, and it's designed for ages 9 to 16. So included in the 8 lessons is a workbook and a journal, and then I have a t-shirt that they get. So those are designed for the tween and teen girls, and it goes over their life challenges, like dating etiquette, dining etiquette, social media etiquette, bullying. It goes over a lot, 8 different areas. So the reason I have the adults as well is because there's just more business etiquette, travel etiquette, wedding etiquette, that kind of thing. So I had 2 different packages is why I thought I could do 2 different audiences.
Hey, it's Jana here with today's sponsored ad. This episode is brought to you by 40 Day Publishing, the company that makes publishing accessible for everyday people with a story to tell. If you've ever thought, I should write a book someday, 40 Day Publishing is here to turn that someday into right now. Founded by authors for authors, they've helped over 140 independent authors publish more than 270 titles. And they do it without the gatekeepers, the confusion, or the crazy price tags that traditional publishing is known for. Their core belief is simple. You don't need years to write and publish your book. You need a proven process, the right support, and 40 days. Whether you write fiction, nonfiction, children's books, or memoirs, 40 Day Publishing has walked authors just like you through the entire journey. You ready to write that book? Head to 40dayworkshops.com to register for their next live free workshop. That's 40dayworkshops.com, because your story deserves to be told.
In the magic wand world.
Oh yes, it would be the tween.
It's tweens.
Okay.
We're not serving adults.
No.
Okay, I'm deleting it. So that's it. From moving forward, you are not serving adults.
Okay.
Okay, great. So the tween 9 to 16, you said.
Yes.
And like for anyone who's not watching, I'm waving my lipstick is my magic wand. Magic wand. Okay.
I love Lori's magic wands.
I always have something on my desk for little things that you'll hear all our little coined things that we say. So you talked about there's 8 total areas, right? But I think we need to define, I know I don't want to get too far into the what yet, right, Jonna? We don't want to define too much of the what, but like, what problem are we solving for these people, these young people? What is it? Let's name it.
Okay, I guess it's lack of confidence, because they need to have the skills to interact and handle a situation such as bullying with grace and eating gracefully and dating. They need to know what's expected of them so that they can learn the proper manners and not just go at it blindly with no roadmap. So I guess I provide them like a skills roadmap.
Yeah. So I think what I'm hearing underlying this is really like instilling confidence in young girls. Like it is giving them confidence to be confident in themselves, to be able to go into, a country club, you know what I mean, with their parents and be okay there, but also be able to go to a school function, like a debate club, and be able to stand on their own. Right. And so I don't think it is, I think you kind of lost a little bit of the plot as you kept explaining, because you turned it a little bit and it almost sounded negative, because you were like, they need to learn how to handle themselves, how to act in public. But today, I feel like today's society is a little bit different, you know what I mean, than it was 60, 70 years ago, where women were expected to have a certain amount of decorum and manners and etiquette. And it's changed and it's shifted. And I think that especially the younger generation, right, they are like very direct. They don't have much of a filter anymore, and they don't like when people question them, right? I feel like it's like no, I'm going to do this my way. But I think the core of what you said is really about the girls having confidence in themselves, being confident going out into the world and being able to handle things. And, we've all been there, all three of us, right, at some point in our life. And I've known Lori for years, and so we've talked about some of this, but both Lori and I could have greatly benefited from this when we were younger. I wasn't super confident in myself. I was that girl who always like kind of hid behind my mom's shadow, you know what I mean, when we went places, because she was able to handle all the communication and I didn't really do a lot for myself. I think my daughter's much different, because she's very like outgoing. She'll talk to anybody, but she doesn't have any decorum either. So help them. But, so I think it's like, it's really that confidence. It's like giving that confidence, that assurance, that stepping them, like it's going to help them in their career, in college and high school. And I think that's what latching onto would be great.
Okay.
And I think too that there's some stats that we need to find that support what you're doing here. So for people who don't know, I have a martial arts background. And so I used to teach anti-bullying workshops. So I really appreciate that part of your etiquette training as well, and the confidence piece. And there are statistics around the way you carry yourself and how that could actually prevent becoming a victim. And I think that people need to understand how to extrapolate some of those numbers when they're thinking of their young girls going off to college, going away for something like like Jonna had a trip up down to Argentina, right?
Yep. No parents.
Summer camp, mission work, going away. To your point, there's like, I think that there's some stats that build credibility and are on mothers' minds thinking about, oh no, what's going to happen if.
Absolutely. I mean, peer pressure. I mean, I think about my daughter's only in 4th grade, but I'm like, oh no, as she goes into high school, like, is she going to be able to stand up for herself and know herself well enough to say no? And I think that kind of comes along with this as well, because that confidence, being sure in yourself and your own morals and your boundaries is really important. And I think that all works together.
I just wrote down boundaries too, because so something I do is when I talk, I take notes live, because it helps me think. And Melinda, I think you're the same way. I think a lot of us are.
I'm taking notes now.
Exactly. So I wrote setting boundaries. I think if you actually tell parents that what you're selling is the ability for your child to know how to set boundaries physically, mentally, emotionally, maybe interpersonally, like the social pieces, right? Saying no to things.
I think social boundaries are extremely important in today's day and age. Absolutely.
Right. Saying no to certain touch. All these things are so critical. So I'm going to just take a moment and I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to put your website up on there. So I'm just
Okay.
giving a heads up. And for anyone who's watching along, that's what you're about to see. Here we go. See the website okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So right now, when we're talking about the who, it is not clear. The dining rate, we're getting rid of adults. So that's going to go bye-bye.
Yes.
But right here, it doesn't tell me that I'm going to have a child who is confident and has tools to know how to say yes, speak up, say no, make friends, discern the good friends from the toxic friends, have confidence, not be a victim of bullying or worse as they get older, understanding social media boundaries, parental boundaries, learning how to embrace and respect them. Right off the bat, you can see there's a big gap between what you're saying and what would sell to those parents, because you're not really saying to the child per se. Although we need to buy in, obviously they need to want that. It's usually going to be mom for the most part making these decisions.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I love what you're saying.
But you see right away, right? Like this is not a benefit or a result.
Yeah, your website is more, it's like straightforward. It's saying like this is the class, but a lot of times people don't care. What they want to know is like, what's the why? You know, what is this going to do for me? How is this going to transform me or their daughter, whoever it is? So like what Lori's saying is you're highlighting, that's really the marketing language around it. That's the piece that sells people, because most people won't look and they'll be like, oh, you have a ladies club etiquette class. That's cool. You know, and they don't connect it. They're not connecting that with like, my daughter's going to be confident. She's going to be able to handle anything. You know what I mean? They're not making that leap, because if we don't tell people exactly the path to walk mentally, they will not walk it.
No, and attention spans are shorter with shorter form content. And we're going to get into the how as well and talking about how you deliver this. We have some ideas for you, but just right off the bat, when you say you've tried everything, we know you said, but probably not, right? Because a lot of what you suggested was in the world of sponsoring, advertising, spending money to reach somebody. But I love this about you, Melinda, because like a lot of people do this. We've talked to a lot of people who kind of feel the same way, that burnt out feeling. When in reality, I think it's good news is that it doesn't cost you money to go to your website, right? Because you edit your own website. Is that right? I do.
That's why it's so bad.
Listen, most of us cannot make our own websites. We have our own team. We're in marketing, okay? We have people who help us. Because it's almost impossible to do your own stuff. But theoretically, based on this conversation, you could extrapolate language that focuses on benefits and results. That, to Jonna's point, it paints a journey in that person's mind who's got 30 seconds to figure out if they want this or not. And that's way more compelling. And say that takes you 30 minutes, that's more money-making time, because the efforts lead to more likelihood of getting money from that thing that you're doing, rather than a ticket, a sponsorship, a coupon, or something like that. Maybe reaching someone who, how do we know if it's, you know, a dude with no kids, it's someone who's retired, maybe doesn't have this connection to this person. There's a lot more question marks in that scenario. Yeah. Than in this one that you have a lot more control over.
Yeah. Okay. There's something that Lori and I say a lot of times, like in marketing, you either need time or money. So it's one of those two things, right? Because you either need time to learn how to do things and do them, or you need money to pay someone else to do them and delegate that. Right. And the great thing is that you can carve out blocks of time to work on things like this, right? And you don't have to spend any money, just your own time, which is more valuable than money most of the time anyway. And so that's what this whole conversation we're going to have is going to be focused around that. It's going to be focused around those things that you can do for free to reach people, to, you know, develop your audience, develop your marketing language. And as we keep moving on, we're going to highlight, like, this is the free thing that you can do. You know what I mean? So that's really our focus in this conversation.
Is there anything else, Jonna, you want to define around the who?
I think a little bit. I know we have so the program has different facets. I had a question about the program too, is if there's any kind of internet section on there at all that you're
social
teaching.
Media. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure, because I was like, I really like the idea of modern etiquette and the fact that like, you know, these girls they live online at this point, you know what I mean? So many are just tied to their phone. And so thinking about that as you're creating marketing content as well, and be like, and you know, social media is included too, because a lot of parents worry about that. There's a lot of not filters and not safety online. And so
Right.
it's a very important thing as well, which I think would be a good thing to lead with marketing language wise. For the who, the really only other question that I have, we kind of have the age and the why, you know, like the pain points established, but I think I want to talk a little bit more about that audience, like break it down even more, right? So are they in a certain area? Do they have a certain income level? Like thinking about who you've worked with, who you want to work with, and, you know, reaching those moms of teens. And let's talk about that for just a minute.
Yeah, I do think that they do fall into a particular demographic of the parents are affluent, educated. They enroll their kids in a lot of activities that would benefit from etiquette. Maybe dance, ballet, any kind of sport, you know, something where they need to learn sportsmanship. So I feel that the kids themselves are social, but they're not aware of like proper social.
Right. They don't quite know how to socialize in a positive way sometimes.
Right. Because they spend so much time on their screens.
And COVID did not help with that. I feel like a lot of that younger generation lost a big period of time where they would have developed a lot of social skills. And I think that really affected a lot of our generation. And so I want to file that away for later as we talk about some of the ideas, because I wanted to just hear some of those thoughts because I want to plug them in later. So that's So Laura, I think that was the only other question I had on that. So if you have any other questions.
No, I feel pretty clear about the who, and there are questions I'm pinning sort of related, but we have to get to those, the what and the how to kind of make it all make sense. So I will touch back on that, but I do think that what people tend to be a little bit afraid of is that word niche. I'm not sure exactly where it comes from, but I have seen resistance around niching or focusing. I think a lot of us want to be of service. So we're like, I'm going to help everyone because we're just passionate people. And then what we've seen, because we've done this coaching with people for a lot of years and a lot of different kinds of small business owners, is they're either floating or they're totally stuck. There's no direction and there's no reverse engineering. Who am I for? What am I delivering? And how? Because we're out here trying to help everyone because we don't want to make anyone feel bad. Like we want to help everyone, like that whole thing that happens. So I just want to point out, whether you're feeling that, Melinda, or people listening and are feeling that way, when you don't have a focus, that will happen. You will either float or you will be stuck.
Absolutely. If you don't niche, it's very hard to talk to your audience. It's very hard to speak to that person you want to speak to, because you're trying to speak to, 12 different people that have different pain points and different interests and different wants and needs. And so niching is the greatest thing that you can do. And I will say, as a disclaimer, is like when you niche, it doesn't mean that if someone approaches you and they're like, hey, my women's group was wondering if you could come and do an etiquette. That doesn't mean you have to say no. It just means that that's not what you're putting out, about yourself. You'll still get people who are going to be like, hey, do you do this? And you can still do those things, but you don't market them in the same way.
That's a great point. I feel like we see the bullseye a lot in marketing. People will show you that bullseye. And then the rings around it, and like there is going to be people in your rings that are not your target. And so John and I do the same thing. We have our core values, which is how we filter what we say yes and no to outside of the bullseye. And then we always know with 100% certainty if it is right, if it is in alignment to say yes or no to that thing. So I hope that also helps as you're thinking forward about this.
I know sometimes like saying no can be scary, right? It's like, so thinking about that in the back is like kind of like it's like a safety net. You know what I mean? It's like, that's there and you don't have to say no. Yeah.
It's great because my neighbor has a ladies group that wants to do an etiquette class.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just dining. So it would be super easy to extrapolate from the kids the beginning of a lesson, and then I can expand on it because I know adults,
Absolutely.
you know, have more responsibility, you know, like don't drink too much or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't bring up politics. Don't drink too much.
Yeah.
So like having those different, but you know, and it's like as you align with your values and who you are in your business, you will find yourself naturally attracting your clientele, and then the ripples that makes, it's beautiful. And so like, you know, opportunities to do like a mommy and me class, or you know, like a parents etiquette night out, you know what I mean, and different things that you can play off of your target audience and expand. And so don't think that we're putting you into a box that you're stuck in that's going to keep you trapped. It's a box of wonderment.
Yeah, and it lays the foundation. And I think too, just speaking from a technical perspective, when you take off the adult stuff from your website, you could put it on a hidden page. So it still exists, but it's not outward. But you have it when the ladies approach you for something like that. You can whip out something easy and not have to like come up with information from scratch every single time. We also have that where we have a hidden page for websites, because at this point, we only do websites for people we know, love, and trust. It's there in the background, but you can't just find it by going on our website. So I just wanted to speak from the logistical space as well.
Well, I don't know how to do that, to have a hidden page.
You're on GoDaddy. We can probably get you a little GoDaddy article. And for anyone who gets stuck, one great thing you can do for free is use like a ChatGPT or Gemini, which is Google's ChatGPT, and tell it, I want to have a hidden page on my website, but I don't know how to do that. I use GoDaddy.
And he'll tell you exactly how to do it, which is great.
Yeah, it'll do tutorials, it'll find videos, sometimes it'll find a whole bunch of things. So I want to empower you to give that a try. And for listeners who maybe haven't also tried that as well, maybe one day we'll have an AI episode. We can tell you all about the really cool AI tools.
Well, yeah.
Donna likes to yell at them, but that's for another day. So we talked about the who. I think we're pretty clear right now. Now we want to define what we call the what. What are you delivering, promising, offering? And I love your story, by the way. I just want to circle back. Like, I love where this came from. But I think Jonna and I were kind of wondering and we've been doing some research on the word etiquette. When you say that you teach etiquette, right? Like, have you said that to people, and what have they said? Like, what's the feedback you're getting when you use that?
Everybody says that it's needed.
They say, oh, that's needed.
Yeah, they say it's lost on the kids.
Okay.
And that they're rude and don't have any idea, don't have any idea of respect anymore, or just social interactions.
Okay. So do you think that, and I don't know if you've done market research specifically, but did you find somewhere that in data that shows people are specifically searching for that term etiquette?
No, I didn't do anything.
We were wondering on it, and we did our own research on it as well. We didn't come up with that etiquette specifically as the word, as the what.
Okay.
Resounded or resonated with people right now. Like, Jonna's a young mom with a young daughter. There might be a lot of people kind of like her. That's not necessarily the word she's grabbing for when she thinks like, oh, my kid needs to set some boundaries, or oh, like my neighbors are saying my kid's rude. What should I do?
Yeah. And the fun thing with like marketing is that you can play around with that language, right? You can play around with having a class that's like ladies confidence and etiquette class, and like leading with that like promise, you know what I mean? And trying out different words and seeing like what's connecting with those moms, right? What is attracting them? Because I feel like in today's day and age, etiquette, like unless you're kind of that affluent, like you mentioned, that affluent, more, they know etiquette and that's their focus. But there is, and the thing you have to think about too is a lot of those established families and those, they have someone that they probably go to, you know what I mean? Like there's probably someone that's been teaching etiquette in the area for a long time that is recommended in those circles already, right? So
her name is Carrie Sue Vega.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did a little research before we got it. And so that's what, those are the pieces I put together. I was like, this person has probably been doing this a really long time. She's probably a go-to reference at places like Heritage Hall and things like that, where she is being recommended. And so, it can be hard to overtake that because status and things like that are important in traditional etiquette. I feel like, family affluency, things like this. And so maybe as we dive into this more, we can think a little bit about twisting your audience, from that to like that, like me, you know what I mean? Like I've got an 11-year-old daughter. I feel like I would be, kind of your target audience, looking at your price point. I could be like, yeah, I could absolutely afford this. I've got 8 1-hour lessons for my daughter. I can pay for this. Hopefully she'll come out of this better. You know what I mean? But I think getting in front of those people and having it be approachable is important.
And I think, like, Jonna, something I'm hearing you say, kind of circling back on the who a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If the affluent community, I get that they have money, so that also kind of helps, right? But like, if we are talking about it, if we pitch this a little differently, and we're not saying etiquette, that's not the word we're using. But that, and I don't have a word yet. This is, we're live riffing together on what this is going to be. But if we're, and also ladies is not resonating with me, is if you're talking about young people, like 9 to 16, I will also wonder, does being called lady resonate with them? Like ladies etiquette, to me, I think of women. I don't think of children. So this is why these things kind of have to get defined as like, these are moms who are scared that these children are going to be bullied online, bullied in person, not be able to get a job because they don't have professionalism, the manners like you're talking about. What do we call that? And I'm not sold that it's etiquette for this generation based on the research that we did. So we're going to wonder out loud a little bit on, that's what we call the what, right? Because you're delivering confidence, boundary setting, safety, anti-bullying. So is it more of like a girls group? I kind of think of like the Girl Scouts for a second, like in my head. Like when you think of that, like you say, most people are positive. There's positive associations with like entrepreneurialism, skills, because there's badges.
Absolutely. Yeah, they learn a lot of skills, skill setting. Absolutely.
Right.
Like lifestyle skill setting, which, you already used the word lifestyle, which is fun.
And my tagline is skills for life. So
nice.
And maybe that's where we go, is more like skills for life, skills for girls, skills for something more obvious, because it's not just etiquette. There's 8 pillars, which maybe we do need to establish a little bit more of this what. So you said there's...
Do you want me to get the workbook and read you the 8?
Do you just know all 8, just like a quick list?
I don't know all 8. I could get the workbook. It's sitting right there.
Sure. Dating, dining, bullying. We know 3 of them. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on a second.
Sure.
Okay, so here's the workbook.
Okay.
That's the girls' bed.
Like it.
And it's really great. It's got like great pictures, lessons. Okay, so sorry, I'm flipping through to the table.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so there's dining, nutrition, puberty, safety, besties, frenemies, and bullies, young ladies and boys, a lady at school, and ladylike communication.
Oh, school and communication.
I like that.
Do you want me to repeat it?
No, she wrote them down. I think. Did you get them all right?
Yeah, dating. Was dating one of them?
Well, young ladies and boys is dating.
Oh, boys. Okay. Dining.
And then nutrition.
Yeah, I gotta reorder it to your order because my order was different.
Oh,
Dining.
sorry. Okay, the first one's dining.
Yep, nutrition,
puberty, safety, which is like online and all that, and like then besties, frenemies, and bullies, dating, and then a lady at school, and then communication.
Okay.
Dating, school, communication.
When I hear these, go if you have something to say, Lori, before I say that, go ahead.
No.
When I hear these, I hear an opportunity to do a mini breakout class for each one of these topics. That is,
yeah, they can buy the classes individually too.
Yeah.
How? Just real quick, how?
They just say they want to do that one lesson, and then I sell them the 1 hour on that lesson.
But how? Are they on the phone? Are they on your website? Are they texting? How?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Like, how are they purchasing that from you? Like, because, are they going to your website and able to sign up for that class? Do they have?
Oh, I don't have any system. No.
Okay.
I just thought they'd call.
Okay. So theoretically, they would call and ask for that.
Right.
thing.
To sign up. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. People
That's
don't
kind of
do
what
that.
I thought.
People, they don't take the initiative. They don't purchase. It's just a whole thing. And so what I see and what I would like you to do is to create like a structured class. Lori and I were doing some research and talking ahead of time, and I'm going to dive in a little bit. So hopefully I'm not getting ahead, but we were talking a little bit about the opportunities of who you could partner with. And again, this circles back to what you said earlier about like who your target audience is, right? With like schools and people who do dancing and the different activities that are important and that people value.
Oh, yeah. And I forgot to tell you, I sent letters to junior highs. I also had an interview with the Girl Scouts to try to get that on board. And I totally flubbed it. So I didn't get that one. But I also did those two things.
I just want to say real quick, though, I think that the how, which is how you deliver, how you sell, is a big part of the problem. Because if you can't purchase already online, if you can't quick chat, quick text, if there's not that in place, to Jana's point, they're not going to call you. They're not going to make it easier for you to sell. You've got to make it easier for them to buy.
Okay.
That's why we wanted to start with the who and the what, so that we can talk when we get to the how. You're delivering something online, exactly to whom, with exactly what, which Jana likes. We both like your mini classes and online classes.
Those are
they can be online or in person, single, group. It can be anything.
Yeah.
But actually it can't, because there's no way to do that right now.
Okay.
But in theory, yes.
Yeah. That's what, as we move into the kind of the next step in a minute, we will talk about like the logistics behind those things a little bit. But I think you have a big opportunity because those single classes, whether they're online or in person, and I think group is best for those as opposed to one-off. I think you can have them for purchase, of course, for one-off, but hosting events, because the individuals who sign up for a one-off class are going to be the people who are most interested in signing up for an entire program. It's kind of, this is like what a funnel is in reality. A funnel doesn't necessarily mean ClickFunnels. ClickFunnels is just a program. A funnel is a system. And so you don't have to have ClickFunnels to have a funnel system. And so everything plays in together. It's really great to have an entry-level offer that builds up to a higher program offer that builds into maybe something residual, like an online course that they have access to. And so all these things build on each other. And I'm trying to remember the statistic, but it takes people, like, they have to see your content like 10, 11, 12 times before they make that decision to even like click on it.
Right. And so if they can't click or buy or really understand how to make this for me and my family, my daughter, they're going to go to someone who makes it easier because we got no time, especially with kids.
Or they're going to go with whoever was recommended to them because that was, an established reference. And so we have to make sure that you are creating an impact in your own way.
And I do want to get into the how. Jana, we can always step back with the examples that we have for her, but I want you to think. I don't think you have answers to this right now. It's not meant for right now. But what we want you to ruminate on is, if you were to deliver your services right now in the one-on-one capacity, how many hours does it take to serve that client? Considering you've got prep, delivery, probably debrief or follow-up. Again, don't answer now, but think about, if you were to keep doing in-person only with no online sales and you work full-time, so your asset of time is extremely limited. It doesn't make sense in your lifestyle to keep building this only in-person business. You literally don't have the hours for it. Also, you will have no personal life. And we won't stand for that. When we work with people, we want you to have balance and joy everywhere, or you're going to just burn out and it'll be over before it started. So we thought a lot about these questions. If you were able to teach 20 people, to Jana's point, in group versus just the one at once, imagine how you feel knowing the impact on those 20 young people. They will feel safer and happier and more connected and more joyful. What a difference for you and for them. That's the opportunity of shifting your delivery to be online first. And then to Jana's point, in person, we think is better for marketing, not advertising. So if you're going to spend your time trying to get more leads, so funnel, right? Funnel is interested to the point where they buy or buy more or buy more. That's what a funnel is. It's just interest to buy.
Yeah, like catches like the most general of your audience, the potentials. They all kind of float around up here. And the goal is to funnel them down until they get down here. And by this time, they're like your perfect client, right? They're like, they bought this, they bought this, they bought this. Like they love you. They recommend you to people. They're like your number one cheerleader. They're passionate about you. And that's what we want. We want to funnel those, like that group of people who are in the top. So you've got like just a whole line of people who are just, you know, coming down that funnel.
Being where those parents are. Are they in the PTA? Are they at that manor or country club? Are they teachers? Are they at chamber events? Are they doing moms clubs? Are they Girl Scout troop leaders? Go where they are.
Okay.
That's where physically, if you're going to do anything in person, you're going to go be where they are. And you're going to first tell them what you can do for them. And then you'll let them know what they can do for you, which is get more leads, make more connections, put butts in seats, right? Get more people in your classes.
Yep.
But like sending out stuff to teachers, and it can't just be like, hi, I'm Melinda and I love what I do. It's like who, what, how. You've got to make a sale. You got to close and ask for business every time.
Absolutely. And like with public schools, there's a lot more red tape, but like we are a state that thrives on private education, right? So reaching out to those small schools, those private schools, those homeschooling co-ops.
Yes.
And connecting with them and selling yourself. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a PDF guide that you make in Canva, right? But you're telling them what you're going to do. You're going to create confidence in their students. You're going to do this. You're going to come do a free seminar, right? For their kids. And you're going to send home an offer for them all to take to all of their parents. And
yeah, I made a list when I first started of all the people I could do this with. And all those were on the list, as well as inmates, you know, female inmates, teen girls who are incarcerated and need to be reintroduced into society. So I wanted to do that like as a charitable side of my business, to do that class for them.
Oh, I love that.
I'm hearing a but. You have a list but.
Did you reach out to those places yet or no?
No.
Okay.
Well, and it's interesting because you have said you've tried everything, but you have this gold mine of an asset. And I think maybe you don't reach out because maybe you're just not sure quite what to say, or maybe what is my pitch. But when you're clear on the who, the what, and the how, that is all you need to deliver. People are like, wow, okay, she serves tween girls from 9 to 16 with online and one-to-one classes that teach them confidence, interpersonal skills, and keeps them safe. And I can buy right now online with this link. And maybe a code, a code for the first time. No, we're not big fans of coupons, but maybe a first time, you know, could be nice. But we're not saying like, hi, I'm Melinda and I do etiquette. No.
Okay.
This is who I serve. This is what I'm delivering. This is how I do it. You're going to purchase this today. Let's go. Let's transform these kids. Let's teach your kids boundaries. You want your children to feel safe at school, right? I mean, who's not going to say yes?
It's selling to whatever's happening in the moment. So like if you're talking to a school and you want to get in there and do a free, you know what I mean, where you come in and you talk to all 100 students in this private school, you want to say like, hey, I would love to come and do a focus class on bullying and like school etiquette, but, you know, not etiquette, of course, but different word, but, you know, how to act in school and behave and things like that. And gear it towards that specific thing. Like you don't have to use all of your general language because you know exactly who you're talking to and what you want the outcome of this conversation to be. So you can alter. I use this comparison a lot, but when I first moved here and when I was in college, I waited tables, right? I was a waitress, and my demeanor and the way that I talk to people would change from table to table, because I'd be able to read this table and be like, okay, the dad's the one paying. He's got this like self-depreciating kind of humor. The mom likes to make fun of him. So we're going to play this off. And the next table is like a young, cute couple who's on a date. I'm going to act different for this table. And that's marketing. I was selling myself for tips, right, at that point. But really, I was just marketing how I acted. So think about that when you're talking to people, because if you're talking to a dance studio, your conversation is going to be different than if you were talking to a principal at a school, right? Or talking to a mom that's worried about something else. So you can alter what you say based on who you're talking to.
And logistically, again, using AI helps. Having your pitch, that's kind of a template. And then tell AI, well, I'm going to this private school that serves these people. I want you to help me tailor how this sounds to this, because I just want to focus on bullying. That's the big thing for schools. But then when you're at the PTA or you're at a girls club or you're at the Girl Scouts, maybe you focus on interpersonal, you know, the frenemy enemy kind of thing. And that, so you alter the pitch. You're prepared. You're ready. I'm also reading from my screen, but most of the time when John and I are working with people, they can't really tell I'm reading anything, because I'm not telling you to read from it, but when you have this flow, first of all, people understand you, and you're generating your passion with facts. I serve this person, so then you don't get on the tangent by accident, because we can do that because we're excited.
I'm a tangent girl. Ask Lori.
But she's come from love. Like, we get it. So people still want to buy into her. But if you can't tell right away, who is this for? What is it? And how can I get it? I am lost in the forever sauce. I will not. I'm stuck. And now we're all stuck. So that's why we want you to name your what something other than etiquette, so that you have a word that can translate and transform into whatever it means. You know, it meets more people where they're at now. And then the delivery, that's going to take something, because you're not as, you know, super techie, and most of us are not very techie, if I'm being honest. You know, most people we meet aren't. But you need to have a website where they can purchase either, maybe it's one single mini or one entire class. Or Jonna also had talked about, don't give away coupons, do a lead magnet. Right. So a lead magnet is that thing that reels in people's interest. I'm using like a fishing pole. And if you're watching me, that's what I'm doing, a fishing pole rod thing. It's just like, what would mom want to know? What would mom want for her kid? The 10 ways to protect them from social media today. Download, you grow your list, because now you can email them, text them, call them.
That's the only issue with like giving something physical out to, like, you know, an event, right, as a raffle prize, is that you're not getting anything back. Like, you're not getting an email list, you're not getting contacts, you're not face to face with the people, so you have time to sell yourself. It's, you know, so having something that you post into like the local groups and be like, hey, I just put together this guide. It's focused on internet safety for kids that are, you know, 9 to 16. It's got some great stuff. Here's the link. You can download it. And they have to put their email and their name in. And then you email them all and be like, hey, I saw you got this. I'm doing a in-person class at this coffee shop on May 15th. And it's focused on this. It's $45. We'd love you to sign up. And then you sell them on the next step from that thing.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of like, do spend the minimal limited time you have on money making tasks, the networking, event-based things, whether you're hosting or going. You're not going to spend, and I really want you to do this with us. I want you to commit. You're not going to spend any money on ads or sponsorships for the foreseeable future.
I won't. I have no money to spend.
Yes. Okay. She's pausing. You heard it first.
No
more of that.
No, I can't. I took a pay cut. So for my 9 to 5. So
yeah, absolutely.
And when we come back and, you know, we ask you, maybe in a week, you're not going to get just like rid of us after this, but we might say, hey, what's your value statement? I help so-and-so with this problem so they can result. Like, do lean into that. So when you're posting on social media, which, by the way, stop posting on social media until, when I say you can like reverse engineer your content, I mean based on the who, the what, and the how. That's what you should be talking about for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then also your story. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember seeing a lot of posts about why you started.
Mm-hmm. People, especially after COVID, people want that like personal connection. Whether something is a business or a corporation, they want it to feel personal. And if you've noticed, if you watch, if you follow big companies, you'll notice that places, even like McDonald's and these big fast food corporations, they've kind of made a shift over the last few years too, to be more personal and like authentic and real in their marketing, and not so like polished. I'm a corporate business, because it's not working anymore. People want they want to connect with you. They want to know who you are and your why and things like that.
So there's a lot of things. I think the good news is you haven't tried it all. We know ads isn't the thing. It's clarifying your who, what, and your how, which is going to take something, especially the how, because we're not all technical. So figuring out how to get your website to be a place where people can click and purchase something, which GoDaddy does actually have that capability. That is a feature of GoDaddy. We've built GoDaddy sites, so we know. That might take something, but see, that's worth spending your time on, because it's going to lead to the money.
Mm-hmm.
The other tasks are just the busy work where we tend to hide. If you've ever seen, there's a chart that talks about urgent and important versus not urgent, not important. You want to be in that world of urgent, which is all the money-making things, because otherwise we shut our doors. No money, no business. So money-making tasks.
And we get drained on the things that aren't money-making. And by the time that it's time for the money-making tasks, we're like, we have no energy. We're running on zero. We're like, disheartened because we've tried all this other stuff and it's not working. But like, it wasn't the right thing. We weren't coming at it with the right mindset. And so, kind of circling back to what Lori said earlier about using AI to establish, like what you'd say. I honestly want you to do the same thing with this conversation that we've had today. Like, go in there and be like, hey, I really need to do an overhaul of my brand and my website. I've noticed a disconnect. This is who I want to work with. This is the transformation I'm creating for them. This is how I want to do it. Can you please help me establish this? And you can ask him to help you write copy for your website that will connect with that audience. You can ask him to help you do a layout and things like this. And, using those resources that are free.
Him is AI for everyone who's not sure. We call him, we call AI him. And I just want to throw at you a couple, just quickly. The confidence blueprint. I want you to think like really brand, like the confidence blueprint, social bravery for girls, unstoppable presence. Think of a whole big old brand that catches people, not just lifestyle skills, because not that there's anything bad and wrong, but we got to grab them so they know what it is. Okay, so we're going to leave you with that, because at this point, we've now redefined your who, your what, and pretty much your how, because that's going to take some execution work on your part. But now you can see if that's where you spend your time honing in your business, the money will follow. We're sure of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I think it was it was very fabulous. And I really appreciate you being open with us and talking with us today, and being willing to go to these hard places. We had a very frank, very open conversation. We said a lot of things that might be hard to hear, but your honesty is going to help so many people who are stuck in the same place as you, right? We know there's a lot of frustrations.
And Melinda, just real quick, do you feel like you've walked away with what you were hoping to hear today?
Yes, I feel so ready to try some new things, and I'll ask for advice when I need it or get stuck, but I do feel there's more I can do, and I'm excited to try it.
Yeah. We like to call them the money-making tasks. So I'm glad you're hearing that with us. And I just want to say, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh shit, this is me. If you're 5 years into a business and maybe it's going nowhere, or you're just avoiding that one thing that would really actually help, or if you can't remember the last time you felt excited about your work, we need to talk. If you want to be a guest on the show, if you're ready for your own reality check, head to our website, becomethrive.com. The link is in the show notes. Fair warning, we're going to tell you the truth, just like you heard here today. Might not always be comfortable, but if you're tired of staying stuck, then that's exactly what you need. And we will see you soon for another business reality check.
Thanks for listening.
Success is a lie if you're you're failing